Well, hey folks, welcome back to another live Q&A session with yours truly, Sam Healy. Thanks for coming. I certainly do appreciate it. And hey, how about that? We got off to a reasonably on time. Things are looking up. Hey. Well, we are here to simply start asking, want you to start asking questions, and I'll start answering them as much as humanly possible. I am going to be using some tricks of the trade and not keeping an eye on the actual feed itself. So if something's going wrong, please let me know in the comments, and we'll do the best I possibly can to get those corrected. I am all alone in here, so it might take a few moments to get things corrected if that happens. So hopefully it won't, but thanks for coming by. Seth Hale, how goes it? It goes well, sir. I appreciate you asking. Another day at the office, I guess you could say. I know it seems kind of strange, but recorded a couple of reviews this morning, played them, well, I recorded a couple of reviews, and I'm going to be editing them later on. We've got a live play of Quiplash coming up this afternoon in a couple of hours, so that's going to be pretty fun. Live play of Rising Sun tomorrow. That's going to be really fun with all of the new gadgets that have arrived. So that's awesome blossom. 6 p.m. UK time. All right, that's awesome. Good evening over there. Let's see. Let's see. Have you tried GMT's Time of Crisis? No, I have not. But you say that you'd also like to see more reviews of GMT's games. We do get some of them here. I do see Pendragon over there. That is, I believe, came from, I want to say Essen, but maybe not. That seems strange that we would get a GMT game at Essen. It probably just came in a box. But it is with and in amongst all of the stuff that has yet to be opened that we received from Essen, but it probably came on its own. But there is going to be some GMT games done. I know that Tom and I both are kind of interested in that based on the title alone. But again, how difficult is it going to be and all that kind of stuff to get through? Well, we'll see. Current painting project Guild Ball kickoff set. All right, that's cool. Hopefully it's the PVC plastic versions, not the metal ones. When I painted them, we had the metal ones, and man, I forgot. I used to collect and play Warhammer 40K back when they had some plastic and some metal pewter, and I was reminded of how much I hate metal miniatures when I was going through the Guild Ball stuff. But they're making almost a complete changeover now. I think I just saw that their Kickstarter projects for the Butcher's Guild and the Fisherman's Guild is about to hit here pretty soon. So that's a cool thing. Those are actually the two guilds that Rob and I did for Battling Brushes. But the metal miniatures were left something to be desired. I think the plastic ones will be much better. So there's that. Let's see here. How would... Okay, this is acting funny. Why is it doing that? All right, let's see here. Thank you. Hi, Rock. Thank you. Wookiees or dwarves? That really depends upon the setting. It just really depends. Let's see. Let's see here. Of course, it depends on the setting. I'm sorry, I was thinking about something else. Wookiees or dwarves? Which ones do I like better? I would have to say It depends on the setting because I mean, I really like Wookiees, but you take Wookiees out of that Star Wars universe or any kind of sci-fi universe and they look kind of strange, right? By respects, you put dwarves into a sci-fi setting like Star Wars and you've got, you know, something that looks like an Ugnaught, you know, from Empire Strikes Back or something like that, and it's also kind of strange. So I think they're equally, I like them equally the same. It just depends on what they're doing here. Let's see here. Are you excited for the new Shadespire faction? Yes. The Chosen Axes, I want to say what they're called. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, the dwarves. I am looking forward to that. It's interesting. It looks like, you know, from certain poses of the models, it looks like they're just naked. Naked dwarves running around with weapons, which is unfortunate, I guess you could say. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what they can do because so far each faction has played very differently from the other factions. So I'm hoping that that trend continues and we see more differentiation between the factions with the dwarves. I just hope that they don't feel like one of the other factions that are already out there. They just have different models. I hope that isn't the case, but we'll see. But yes, I am looking forward to it. I am doing well, Jay. Nice to see you. And I do want to say, Jay, that your request that you sent me, I've already gotten to work on it because Tom has already given me his extra bits. And I know, Jay, I know you know what I'm talking about, but nobody else does. I apologize, but it's kind of cryptic, but it's nothing huge. Just an idea he has for some flair. So I'll contact you later about that. Let's see. You are currently on the treadmill. Good job, Vanessa. Keep at it. What's your favorite hidden movement game? Probably my favorite hidden movement game. There's a couple of them. I like Spectre Ops for its brevity, and I like Fury of Dracula for its depth. So there you have it. Those are my two favorite ones. Let's see here. Best escape game series. I am not an escape game kind of person. So Exit and Unlock, I think, is another one. I don't know. Those are all kind of games that I usually don't gravitate towards. So I'd be the wrong person to ask in that respect. Hi from Canada. Oh, why did it do that? Okay, here we go. Hello from Canada, Caitlin. Hello. Let's see. Have you tried Fog of War yet? I have not. But again, if you saw our studio run through, that Tom did a couple days ago, you know why? Because there are so many games that we have to play, and getting through them is just, wow, very difficult. Michael Hall says, just played Shadespire for the first time with 4. I'm sorry. Yeah, Shadespire with 4 is a much different bear than it is with 2. I've played it with 2, 3, and 4 players, and by far it is the best with 2. It just elongates, and your downtime is exasperated if you get, you know, the more players, the more that exasperates. So yeah, definitely best at 2, but it can be played with 3 and 4, but definitely best with 2. A couple youth group questions. Aaron says, what are some of your group's favorite games, and what about the size of your youth group? Do you use games as illustrations at all? Well, every once in a while I'll use games as illustrations. I actually have an entire sermon that's built around in some way, shape, or form Ticket to Ride, and it's called Ticket to Ride Heaven. But the size of our youth group, we've just gotten through combining the youth, the junior high and the senior high, and we're at about 35 with that combining having taken place. So it's really difficult to play games in that setting. More often than not, we're doing a lot of outside type games because most board games just don't handle 35 people. And the ones that do are going to be pretty boring to at least half of the group, give or take. So we've been doing a lot of outside games lately, but you know, we have, you know, get-togethers on other nights every once in a while, and we'll pull out games with those groups because those groups tend to be smaller. Actual youth group is the bigger one. What do you think of Axis Allies 1941? I actually haven't done it or seen it. I know that it's out there. It's like an anniversary edition or something to that effect, but it looks really nice. I just haven't really looked at it past that. Who will win the next Soccer World Cup? Bonus points if it is Uruguay. I'm a fan of the sport. I just don't watch it that often. So to see who is doing better than the others, I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't tell you at all, and I really don't even have an opinion there. But what the World Cup is, of course, you know, I like to see, with USA not being in it, I like to see other people doing well. And again, I don't even know all who made it. I'm assuming England made theirs, so if they did, I'll be throwing my hat in with them. Yeah. Saw the Lords of Hellas, and now I want one. Is there going to be another Kickstarter? I have no idea, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's exclusive or anything like that. So it should be going to retail. I just don't know when. So I apologize for my lack of knowledge there. Will you be doing any painting for the Shadespire minis? Yes. I am. That is on the horizon. It's just that Rob and I just got back into doing battling brushes, and we've done we've just completed the painting part of our series for Dust 1947. So we're going to be getting a playthrough of that done as quickly as we can logistically get that to work between his schedule and mine. I don't know if it will be actually part of battling brushes. I don't know if he owns any of the battling brushes, any of the Shadespire games, but if he doesn't, then I might just do it on my own, but I don't know. We'll see. Usually the battling brushes is something that we each get part of and split it up, but we'll see. Let's see here. Quest for El Dorado with or without the cave tiles. I don't know. I don't think I've played with the cave tiles, so I don't have an opinion on that. I apologize. Will you be reviewing or doing a playthrough of Nemesis? I don't believe. I could be mistaken, but I don't believe we have a copy of Nemesis as of this moment. I could be wrong. It could just be here and I not know it, but I don't think we have a copy of that yet. Do I ever play games solo? Board games, usually not. I like board games for the community aspect, and if I want to play a game solo, I usually play a video game like Halo or Skyrim or something to that effect. But no, usually I don't play board games solo. Let's see. I'm not going to read that, but that is funny. It made me laugh. Let's see, who's your names? Do you know? Vanessa Garretton. That made me laugh. What is your favorite theme, and what themes do you think are underused? Wow. My favorite theme. I don't know that a favorite theme is necessarily there. I mean, I do like Vikings as a theme, and I just usually like how the games look graphically, and I like the mechanisms that are usually employed with a lot of the Viking games. So that is something that's there. I also like sci-fi, and I also like fantasy, and how much I like the game within those different genres usually depends upon what specific theme is used within it. For example, with sci-fi, if it's got a Star Wars or Battlestar Galactica theme on it, then I'm usually all in from the get-go. The Expanse, the board game, is the theme on that one is what pulled me in. Components are really lackluster in my opinion, but the theme and everything kind of pulled me in that way. Although the mechanisms aren't really that greatly connected to the theme, it is just the theme, the IP that drew me in. So sci-fi, fantasy, and you know, historical, Vikings, those are probably some of my favorite ones. Which one do I think is underused? You know, I don't know. Something that's underutilized as a theme. Underwater basket weaving. I have no idea. I don't know. Let's see. Favorite worker placement of all time now? That's a good question. I haven't really put a lot of thought to it. I know I've done a top 10 worker placement games, so you can go back, and that's probably pretty close to what it would be without going back and looking at it specifically to see if something may have muscled its way into that list or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, there you have it. You can go check that list out. Do you think you've become slightly more of a Euro gamer now than you used to be, or do some of your more recent top 10s, top 100s just show that you're the wild card? Yeah, the wild card. Okay. I don't know that I'm necessarily a wild card. I just think my tastes are getting more specific, and I say that because I don't want to use the word refined, because I don't think that has an air of snootiness about it. I don't think my tastes are becoming more refined. I think they're just changing. I have, you know, I'm doing more for the Dice Star than I have been in other years that I've done the top 100s and that type of thing. So I have less time to play some of the older games. So I'm being introduced on a more regular basis to newer games and some of those newer mechanisms. And there are a lot of games that are kind of hybrids of Euro-y and Amerithrashy type of games and mechanisms. So I don't know. I don't think so, because I really, you know, your hard and fast traditional Euro games, I really still do not like that much. I'm more, you know, the hybrid ones that are coming out. Yeah, those are great. But no, I don't think I'm becoming more of a Euro gamer. I've always kind of been an Omni gamer, really, honestly. I usually don't demand that we try one game or the other on any given day. I'll just play what everybody else wants to, generally speaking, unless I really don't like the game that's about to be played. So yeah, I don't think so, but we'll see. And sure, I'll be the wild card. I don't mind that at all. I can fill that role. Let's see here. Is someone going to review Heaven and Ale? I actually just played that on Saturday last, and played it with Jason and a couple other guys, and Melody, and I think Dennis was his name. And, no, David. David was his name. And we had a good time. It was definitely one of those Euro gamey type of things, and it had a lot of, you know, Jason walloped us. And David actually did also very well against Jason and the rest of us. He actually came in second. Of course, I told him, like we always do, when Jason's involved, we're all playing for second, and the second place is actually the winner. So there you go. Let's see here. Let me check the bottom here just to make sure anything is going on. No, but oh my goodness, am I behind. All right, we're going to skip up a little bit here. I apologize if I'm skipping past some of your questions, but I really need to do that. Let's see here. Beard oil for the win? I don't know what that means, but okay. How did Sam and Tom and Sam, do you think I'm Z? Because that's what that thing looks like. Tom and I met in college. We met way back in college. Goodness, many more years than I would like to admit. And we've been friends ever since. Have we tried First Martians? Yes, we have. We played First Martians a while ago. We have not gotten around to the actual review of it yet, though. Okay, so Masiek from Poland says, hello, I want to ask which game you enjoyed more, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea or Lords of Hellas? Probably Lords of Hellas I enjoyed more. The Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea has a really kind of generic fantasy theme on it, and Lords of Hellas had a very unique take on the ancient Greek mythology theme. So I liked it. I also kind of liked gameplay a little bit more, but I enjoyed both of them. I think they're both great games. I just think I enjoyed Lords of Hellas a little bit more. Let's see. Have you thought about reviewing some of the Conan expansions? No, I haven't, but that's always a possibility. Would you rather play TI4 on Super Bowl Sunday if it was the only time you could play this year, or watch the Super Bowl? I'm not that invested in the Super Bowl unless the Bears are playing, and that happens rarely. I would probably be... Then there's also the caveat that usually when there's a Super Bowl around, we have a get-together of my church family has a get-together at the church's parsonage for Super Bowl Sunday. We watch the game together. We have, burgers and hot dogs and that type of stuff, and we just have a good time together. And so there's that. If my church didn't do that, then yeah, I'd be open to playing TI4 on Super Bowl Sunday. That wouldn't bother me at all. Unless the Bears are playing. And then, sorry, TI4 definitely takes the backseat. Let's see here. Hi, Sam. I see you get some international contributors for Throat Punch Lunch. Do you care much for accents? No. Matter of fact, I love having as many international contributors for Throat Punch as I possibly can have. That's part of my goal, I guess you could say, with TPL is to have as many different voices on there as possible. That's just what I like. I grew up a third culture kid with my dad being in the military, and I've just kind of followed that route my entire life. I mean, we've lived overseas as my family and I have lived overseas as missionaries. That's definitely a third culture kid type of setting as well. So I've always lived in very diverse areas. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas, a very diverse area. I grew up in well, I don't know, Virginia is a little bit less so, at least the area that I was in. But here in Miami, very diverse. So diversity is just kind of what feels kind of normal for me. That's just what I've always had. I actually am a little bit more comfortable in that situation. I know it feels strange, but when we were in Korea, riding the subways and stuff like that, we had times where we could just drown out everything else, because I was learning how to speak Korean, but I was not then, and I am still not now very good at it. I can stumble my way through a menu at a restaurant and that type of thing, but beyond that, I don't really have much expertise. But I was still able to kind of drown out the people speaking in Korean on the subway and in the cities and that type of thing. When we came back from Korea and I was thrown back into a bunch of English speakers, it was almost like information overload. So I actually experienced more culture shock coming back from Korea than I did going to, which is kind of strange, but I mean, it's just the way it was. I grew up in a military family. We lived in Germany for 3 years. I was almost born in Okinawa, Japan, because my dad was stationed there during, back then in the 70s. So diversity just feels right as far as that's concerned. So international contributors and accents and all that kind of stuff, that's good for me. Last year, you included some more abstract and Euro games in your top 10 list than usual. What is the one abstract and one Euro game you are most looking forward to this year? I haven't broken it down that way. If you want to, you can go take a look at our most anticipated games for this year. We've done a list of that, Tom Z and I together. So I haven't really specifically looked at it in terms of Euro games and abstracts, but those 10 games are the ones I'm looking forward to. Let's see here. What is your favorite Warhammer or Warhammer 40K game, not tabletop miniatures? Shadespire. Honestly, that's my favorite game right now from Warhammer, from Games Workshop. Mythic Battles Pantheon review. Vernon and I were just talking about that yesterday. We are thinking, and again, this could change because it depends on his schedule and mine, and making sure they coincide. Thinking about doing that review together, so that we can get two viewpoints on it. So the Dice Tower proper doesn't actually have a copy of Mythic Battles Pantheon. We were using Vernon's copy when we did the live play last week. So we'll be using his copy for the review. And so I don't know if it's going to come next week or just very soon. But yeah, it is on the docket. Let's see here. You guys should get sweet intros for your live Q&As. Well, yeah, we have them. I actually forgot to schedule this one until like 30 minutes before it's supposed to go live. So that's definitely my bad. And I dropped the ball on that one. But yeah, usually we try to. Let's see. Have you tried the expansions of Raiders of the North Sea? No, not yet, but I definitely want to. Definitely want to. Ooh, the Brothers Murph are here. Cello. I saw that you wrote that. That's why I said it. I'm sorry. All right. I have not played Dinosaur Island yet. You are loving Wasteland Express, you said, but are you curious, have you played the PvP rules? No, I have not, Cam. Reason is because there's enough going on in that game, and there's enough ambushes by the enclaves that playing PvP I think would overdo it. Vernon almost got me to play the PvP version, but I decided at the very last minute not to for that reason. I think there's plenty of ambushes that you need to worry about rather than have to worry also about your opponents as well. So there you have. Am I going to play Orcs or Ultramarines in Heroes of Black Reach? I'm going to play both. I want to see how both sides play. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Should you get Kingsburg or Kings of New York? King of New York. Ugh. Wow, those are really two kinds of different levels of games. If you're more of a gateway gamer where you're playing games with newer people to the hobby, more often than not, then maybe King of New York would be better. But if you're looking for maybe gateway / next step type of experience, then I would go with Kingsburg. Let's see here. Hello, Billy Squid. Recently discovered Shadows of Brimstone is dungeon crawl game that I've been looking for. I know Tom gave you the game. No, he actually didn't. Have you ever had a chance to play it? And no, we haven't had a chance to play it. What actually happened with Shadows of Brimstone is we had a guy in our game group that said that he would put the miniatures together. I was trying, at the same time, I was asking, this is before I went full-time for the Dice Tower, but I said, hey, give it to me, I'll put the miniatures together and we can get the review done. But he decided not to do that, and another person in our game group offered to do the same thing, and then it just it never happened, basically. And so he just offered Tom, hey, look, I'll just give you some money and I'll purchase it and it'll be over with, and that was that. So, it just kind of happened. It wasn't meaningful or anything like that. It just kind of slipped out of our grasp, I guess you could say. So no, I don't actually own the game. Let's see here. Let's see here. Who are some? Let's see. Have I played Lorenzo Il Magnifico? No, I have not. Can you give me some tips on painting miniatures, or at least something that you feel is important? Well, Joe, if you... Really, the thing is that you need to see if you enjoy the hobby first. And that means picking up some inexpensive paints, some inexpensive brushes, some inexpensive miniatures, and giving it a try first. What I usually say is, watch our Battling Brushes series, because we do stick to very basic techniques. in that series. Rob and I both are very, very passionate, I guess you could say, about showing people how simple it is to get decent looking miniatures on the table in a relatively short time. We don't go heavily into all of these different techniques that can be used that are kind of advanced techniques. We stick to very basic, very simple techniques. Not that any of the advanced ones aren't simple with a little bit of practice, but we just keep it on a very simple scale. So watch those battling brushes things, and what I also usually tell people is, of course, get yourself some inexpensive brushes, inexpensive paints, you know, from like a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby or something like that, just regular hobby store, and then get a bag of, you know, that bag of like plastic soldiers that you can buy for like $1 or something like that, and it gives you like 50 plastic soldiers, and practice some of the different techniques that we go over, and see if you're going to enjoy it. And then once you enjoy it and you've got some practice under your belt, then you can crack out some of those board games that you've paid $50, $60 for and try your hand at it. But see if you're going to like it first before you spend a whole bunch of money, because some of that stuff can get pretty expensive pretty quick. So that's what I would say. That's my introductory type of stuff here. What's my favorite Rising Sun clan? The turtles. I don't know what the green turtles, the ones that have mobile fortresses. That's my favorite one. Let's see. No, you've mentioned it, but have you tried Time of Legends, Joan of Arc, or only looked at it? I have played a scenario of it at Gen Con last year, and that's really what most of my liking it and talking about it has been based upon. And then of course I took a look at the Kickstarter, and it's, my goodness, the stuff they have that's available for this game from their Kickstarter is just simply amazing. So my liking it is based on my play of it at Gen Con last year. So let's see here. My friends are heavily into Android Netrunner, having trouble getting to grips with it. Can you recommend a similar game to ease me into the game? No, unfortunately I can't. Those TCGs and LCGs is not really my forte, and I kind of have never really gotten into them, just because I want more than just card play, and I don't mean to be, you know, sound snooty with that, but it's just not it's not what I derive fun from. So no, I can't. I'm sorry. Z probably could though. He's our card game aficionado here. Started painting miniatures the last 2 months. My question is, do you stick exactly by the board colors or be creative with your figure colors? Well, if you watch the most recent Battling Brushes thing that Rob and I did, we painted the mechs that come in our battle groups for Dust 1947, and I completely strayed away from how that miniature looks in all of its illustrations and kind of went with my own thing on it. I still tried to stay thematic to the army, but I kind of had my own take on it. So yeah, sometimes I do, but more often than not, whenever I'm painting something, especially on a video, I'm painting it for somebody else. So unless they tell me that they want it painted a specific way, I usually try to stick to what the illustrations in the rule book and on the box and that type of stuff, just so that it looks like the character in the game, and it's not you can tell who that is by looking at it. Let's see, will we see any more TI4 content coming? Yes, Isabel, we will be doing that. I know I talked about doing it after the cruise, and time has run away from me. So yes, it is coming. It is on the horizon. We're going to get a 3-player game of it going here pretty quick, but I don't know exactly when. But it is up here, and I know I have said that we were going to do it, so I will follow through with it, but I just don't know exactly when. Let's see here. Are you a fan of the cyberpunk genre? You know, it's strange because it's an interesting genre. I actually played the role-playing game Cyberpunk back when I was in high school, and we used to have, we did many many campaigns in that book. One of my best friend in high school was a GM for it, and he ran games all the time. So we were very heavily into Cyberpunk back then, but I've kind of just not been into it ever since then. So I wouldn't have a favorite game in that genre. My favorite Firefly game, probably the one from Gale Force 9 at this point that has all the expansions coming out of it. That's probably my favorite one. Let's see here. Yeah, Brothers Murph. We're looking forward to Meeple Common as well. Looking forward to it. We got to play. We got to get some stuff in there, man. So carve out some time. Let's see. Do you generally like the chaotic nature of a game like Captain Sonar? You know, Captain Sonar is probably the cusp, you know, the very outer cusp of the level of chaos that I'm willing to endure in a game. And that's because you can kind of drown everything out and focus upon what you're doing. And I mentioned doing this in the subway format of drowning everything out but what I want to listen to. So in Captain Sonar, I can do that. I can kind of drown out what everything else is going on and just focus on the information that I need for what I'm doing. So I'm able to cope with, I guess you could say, that level of chaos a little bit more than something like Pit, where everybody's yelling and banging things and all at the same time. And yeah, Captain Sonar is probably the lip that I'm not wanting to go past. Let's see here. All right. Brutal Barracuda says, my Kickstarter copy of The Walking Dead No Sanctuary arrived today. When can we expect your review? Well, we just did the unboxing of that a couple days ago. Well, we recorded it at least. So we haven't got it to the table. We haven't played it yet, but it's definitely on the horizon, that one. Really, the miniatures in it and it looks like the attention to detail as far as the scenarios you can use. I haven't looked at gameplay or rules or anything like that yet, but it looks like the level of attention to detail that they used in the game is really good. I mean, the miniatures look like the characters on the movie, or the TV show rather, and so I have high hopes, but we'll see. Have you tried Anachrony? Yes. I have. It was a while ago, almost a year and a half ago at this point, I think, and I thought it was a good worker placement game, but overwrought. I liked how they handled the usage of time and going back in time, going forward in time, that type of thing. I liked that. But I thought that it was just simply overwrought, and it was too much of a good thing. I guess I could put it that way. Let's see. One versus all game you would recommend. One versus all game you could recommend. Well, Hunt for the Ring is a good one. Fury of Dracula is a good one. Now these are hidden movement games. So maybe you take that as a caveat if you don't like hidden movement games. But in my experience, that's what usually most of those kinds of games are. Or you could go the route of something like Level 7 Omega Protocol. That's a one versus all. Conan is a one versus all. The new Batman game coming out from Monolith, that's one versus all, which is very similar to Conan, but a little bit different, slightly different. So those are some of them that I would recommend that I enjoy. You know, the Overlord, Dungeon Crawlers, Descent, Sword and Sorcery, no, because you're actually, you know, players are taking control of the different bad guys that are on the board. So yeah, the ones that I mentioned, minus Sword and Sorcery, would all be good takes. Let's see here. With so many games to review, do you ever do a lightning round marathons to review them in a rush? Well, that's part of, you know, kind of the two birds with one stone type of thing. That's kind of why we're trying to do more live plays, because it helps us on that end. The main reason why it takes so long to get some of these games reviewed is because it takes that long to get them played. And so we figure if we, you know, do our learning games online, you know, live, that's, you know, first of all, we're giving you guys a look at the game in action, but it's also helping us get the game played, you know, at least once, you know, and then more than likely we'll play it more than that if we feel it's necessary. But that's why we've kind of begun doing the more live plays, so that it helps in a small way. Let's see here. Gonna keep down. Hello from Ireland. Hello, hello. How do you think Joan of Arc will work for someone who has never played a miniatures game? Really like the mythical side of it. Well, I mean, as far as playing a miniatures game is concerned, that would probably be one of the better games to jump in. That's still kind of jumping into the deep end, but you're getting minis, you're getting terrain, buildings, foliage, everything is coming in this box to really make your board look pretty good. So it wouldn't be a bad game to start with, but like I said, it might feel like you're kind of jumping into the deep end a little bit. Never played a do you mean like you've never played a tabletop miniatures game, or you've never played a game with miniatures? I'm assuming that you've never played a tabletop miniatures game. Just realize that Joan of Arc, while it is a tabletop miniatures game, it also has a pretty strong board gamey type feel to it. So it might be good. Might be getting in over your head. I don't know. You'll have to make that determination on your own. Let's see here. Who do you want to win the Super Bowl? Okay, here's how I look at this. All right, you ready? I'm a Bears fan, so I always root for the Bears first. If the Bears are out, then I root for whoever is left from my division. And if there's no one left from my division, then the Bears division, then I root for the conference. So I'm always going NFC, not AFC, so I'm rooting for the Eagles. Sorry, AFC, I'm just an NFC guy. Let's see here. Let's see. Thoughts on Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea as compared to TI4? Hadn't really made that connection at all. I mean, I like TI4 better. I think it provides more Amerithrashy kind of depth, which is what I'm really looking for in games. I don't want a heavy Euro side of depth, which is what I think Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea gives you. I mean, it still has that Amerithrashy feel of conflict and battle and that type of thing, but there's also another layer of Euro gaminess that is in there as well. And I like the TI4 underneath feel a little bit better than the Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. I liked Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Enjoyed it a lot. Had a great time playing it with four corners of the board. Graham, sorry, and Rob and Roy. So we had a great time together on the last marathon, but I like TI4 better. Let's see here. Have I heard of the game Puerto Rico? Yes, I have, and I think it's boring. But it is a classic. It is a classic, so there is that. Let's see here. How much differ does Honami Koji and Shadows over Kyoto, which is the better game? I think they're two different kinds of games, really. Honami Koji is definitely a card game, whereas Shadows in Kyoto is a stratego kind of game that includes card play. So there's really two different kind. I mean, they both have a very strong two-player element to it. I mean, they're two-player games, but Shadows in Kyoto it's much more of a tactical game, and I think Honami Koji is much more of a strategic game because you know what you have in your hand and so forth and so on. So I don't know which one is the better. I think more people will probably enjoy Honami Koji better because it's more of a universal style of game. But Shadows in Kyoto is also very good. Let's see. Let's see here. Vikings in space is my dream game? No, that's taking what I said, first of all, out of context and entirely too far. No, I mean, no, that seems very not cool. But there you go. Is there an Olympics themed game? I don't know. I know there's an Olympics themed video game way back. Underutilized theme, yes, okay, thank you, Derek. Music, all right, fine. Somebody, Caitlin, is going to design an underwater basket weaving game. Well, thank you very much, Caitlin. Let's see. Looking forward to God's Not Dead 3. Actually, you know, there was such a sharp drop-off between God's Not Dead 2 and the first one that I don't know what's going to happen with that third one. I know very little about this one, the third one as well. So, but I was the drop-off in quality, I guess you could say, from number 1 to number 2 was so sharp that I'm apprehensive about the third. Let's see here. Is there a live show to close out the Kickstarter tonight? I don't know. That's probably going to go from Tom's end if that happens, and I don't know. He hasn't said anything about it. He has mentioned being on at midnight on the web, on the Kickstarter page to close out, but I don't know what he's going to do live or if he's going to do anything like that. Let's see here. Here's a good one. Sam, how much does Kickstarter exclusive affect a game? Like Rising Sun, I want to get it, but I feel like I miss out on tons of content since I didn't back it. Here's what I think here. It isn't, if you're buying a game for the exclusives, I think you're buying the game for the wrong reasons. And the reason I say it that way is because what exclusives should do is simply give you more ways to play the same game. And now, with that having been said, replayability and playing different ways, and that will possibly make a game better. But if you're backing a game just because of all the extra stuff that comes with it, you might be setting yourself up for disappointment. For example, the expansions to TI3. They added a lot of cool stuff to it. But when it got down to brass tacks, how much of the extra stuff in those expansions did I use? Sorry. How much of that extra stuff did I use all the time? Well, very little of it, actually. A very small percentage of those two expansions did I use. Most of which were not even included in TI4. And I think TI4 is the better game for it. So there is that. I'm sorry, I have to answer this phone. It's from my kid's school. Hello?
Sam, hi, it's Diane. I'm sorry to bother you. Is it that time?
Yes, it is. I'll call you back.
Okay, well, okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, sorry. So anyway, sorry about that. It's from my school. I hope it's not anything important. My kid's school. Let's see here. Are you guys interested in playing Who Goes There by Certifiable Studios? I'm not familiar with that title. I apologize. Do you drink? If so, what do you enjoy? I do drink. I drink water a lot. I drink bai a lot. I drink a lot of different things. But if you're speaking about alcohol, no, I don't drink alcohol, and it's just a choice that I've made. So I don't necessarily have a problem with anybody else drinking it. That is a personal decision that they have to make. But no, I don't drink alcoholic beverages. But I love a good Arnold Palmer, and I really enjoy Sobe Life Waters. So those are the things that I enjoy drinking. Let's see here. Do I think the Kickstarter is going to reach 290,000? Maybe. I mean, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. We could have somebody drop in there and drop 100 grand. I mean, it could happen, right? I just saw a video. I didn't watch it, but I saw a video where some guy donated 30 grand to a guy's Twitch channel. So sure, it could happen. Will it happen? I don't know. I'm just really happy with what we've got, and I really think it's cool. It's strange, but I love the fact that we have like so many more backers this year. Yeah, the amount isn't as much, but we have so many different backers, and that's a really cool thing. Somebody did the numbers, and it's probably more than now, but it was like around 15-20% more than we had last year. That's a cool thing. Yeah, no, it's cool. Let's see. Which do you prefer, Summoner Wars or Shadespire? At this point, if I'm playing with my kids, then I would probably say Summoner Wars, just because they're more savvy on that game. But my personal taste is Shadespire. Shadespire is the one that I'm enjoying the most right now. Let's see. No, I have not played Monster Hunter World. I don't think I've even heard about that. I'm not here to cause any trouble. I'm just here for the Super Bowl Shuffle. Yeah, that's true. Yes, I remember that very bad music video. It was fun to watch, though, and it was cool back in the day. Let's see here. Is Blood Rage combat system your favorite, or do other diced systems take precedence? It really depends on the game. Combat resolution is usually only part of the game, and hence it's only part of the decision that I use to determine whether I like the game or not. So games usually don't rise or fall upon the combat resolution system that they choose. So yeah, I really enjoyed the diceless combat in Lords of Hellas, Blood Rage. It's also good in Kemet as well. So I mean, you don't have to have dice, but I do like the tactile aspect of rolling dice, but I don't think it's a necessary thing for me to enjoy the game. Let's see here. Now for a question. How many years do you do painting miniatures hobby? Well, off and on. See, we were playing Warhammer 40K way back. Goodness. I want to say third edition. Third edition, I think, is when we stopped playing it. So, however long that's been, over 10 years, but that's been off and on. I haven't painted miniatures consistently throughout all of those years. So consistently, I would say probably around 5 years. But yeah, it's kind of like riding a bike. You know, it's a little bit hard to get back into it, but it's still pretty fun. I know before the UK GE you wanted to check out Warpgate. Did you get a chance to check it out? And any thoughts as it's currently on Kickstarter? Well, it has already funded on Kickstarter, so I think I'm pretty, I consider myself pretty safe to say that I did actually really enjoy. Somebody actually asked me, they saw that they had a quote from me on the site, and they asked, did they ask to use that, or is that a fake quote? And I was like, no, it's not a fake quote at all. I did really enjoy the game. As a matter of fact, I've talked to a lot of people about Warpgate ever since I first tried it. Way back when, not last year, but the year before at Essen, when it was in a completely different format, much longer kind of 4X type format. But Artie did a lot of changes to it and made a lot of, basically trimmed the fat off of the game over and over and over again, and came down to a very streamlined version of basically the same game. And I think it plays really well. So I did enjoy the game a lot. And if you watch those videos on the webpage, I think you'll see that the gameplay and what we're talking about and so forth. So I did enjoy it, and I think it's worthy of your money. But again, you have to make that decision whether or not you can afford it and back it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Sam, I know you don't care for Codenames, but how do you feel about Codenames Duet or Codenames Marvel? Well, actually, I think Codenames Pictures is the best incarnation of that game. I do also like Duet, the two-player back and forth of it. One of my main hang-ups is that, first of all, my experience with the regular version of Codenames has not been very action-packed or very fun. And usually when I walk by and I see people doing it, and I know that's just a portrait, a snapshot of other people's experience with it. It's just people staring at the table, at the cards on the table, and that type of thing. So that's my main thing with Codename Pictures. First of all, I like the fact that it is not language dependent, and then secondarily, it's just more fun that way, and it usually goes a little bit quicker. So I don't know, I just like Codenames Pictures better. I think that's what it basically boils down to. It's just more in my line of games that I like. Where did I live in Virginia? We lived, my dad was stationed at Langley Air Force Base, and we lived in Hampton. I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was in the Newport News area, Hampton. Yeah, well, I remember going to see the Hampton Gulls play more often than not. As a matter of fact, my mom got hit in the chest with a puck one time, had to be rushed to the hospital. So yeah, I haven't thought about that in a long time. But yeah, that's the area that we lived in. That was back when I was in, oh goodness gracious, how long ago was that? I want to say second, third grade. So it was quite some time ago. I don't know if I'm a fan of Gloomhaven because I've only played it once, and I really struggled with the nuances of how cards to play and all that kind of stuff, and it was a very difficult experience for me. So I've only played it the once. Looking to try to play it some more, but just hasn't happened yet. Let's see here. Timon6219 says he was in the Air Force stationed at Okinawa in 1972, 1973. Huh, you might have rubbed shoulders with my dad. I'm pretty sure that's when he was there. Actually, he was also there in 74. That was the year I was born. And my mom actually had to be medevaced back home to Wilford Hall Hospital because of complications. So maybe you may have known my father. He was just a young buck at the time, so his name was Jack Healy. But hey, who knows? Small world, though, right? All right, let's see here. Let's get some more questions. Any countries you'd like to visit? Kiki asks. Well, you know, Z and I are traveling to Iceland this year for a convention in Reykjavik, so we're looking forward to that one. That was almost like a boom, we're there, you know, when it was offered to us. So that's cool. I still have yet to visit Ireland. That's my I guess you could say my ancestral home. That's where my forebearers are from. My dad has done the legwork on tracing our Irish heritage back to some Healy's that live in the northern part of Ireland. So I'd love to visit Ireland. My dad has been able to visit Ireland, and he taunted me with pictures every day that he was there. So there's that. But that's bucket list type stuff. You don't get hung up on it now. Wishing, oh, I wish I was there. I don't do that. Sometime it'll happen, sometime it won't. It's not that big of a deal if it won't, but it'd be really cool if it did happen. But yeah, that's the one. That's the one. It's strangely enough, right next to that is going to see the Cubs at Wrigley Field. So that's that. Let's see. Let's see here. With the upcoming release of Zombicide Green Horde, do you think you'll still get Black Plague to the table? Well, I don't back Kickstarters a whole lot, so Kickstarters are always kind of up in the air whether or not we're going to get a copy of it for review, and if we do, it's probably going to be sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's going to be after it's already done and everybody has their own copies and that type of stuff. But no, I think I don't know. I don't know. I like the orcs. Zombie orcs is kind of strange, but it fits. And I like the new mechanisms that they've added to that Black Plague system, to that Zombicide system, rather. So I don't think so. I don't think it'll affect it that much, but you never know. I think the two can be combined as well. So it might even enhance the number of plays of Black Plague that we get to the table. Let's see. All right, well, we're at 2 o'clock here, and I usually do a lightning round of you give me a bunch of things that I have to choose one of. Oh wow, I am so sorry. There are so many questions here that I did not get to. Favorite type of M&M? Peanuts. I'm just catching some of these. Let's see. Let's see here. How does my personal collection compare to Jason Levine's? It pales in comparison. My collection is stark raving white compared to Jason's collection. So there you have it. Hey, Berkey's here. Hi, Berkey. Good to see you. Let's see here. Ever been to Belgium? We've driven through Belgium. When my dad was stationed in Germany, we did a whole lot of traveling around. We traveled to Paris. We traveled to Brussels. We traveled up to Amsterdam. We traveled down into the Garmisch area. So we went to Munich for Oktoberfest. We've gone to a number of different places when we lived over there. Yeah. Han or Indy? Both. All right, here we go. We've got them. Lightning round. Here we go. Okay, Han or Indy? Gerbil or hamster? What? Come on, Kabuki. Custom Heroes or Mystic Vale? Ooh. I haven't actually played Custom Heroes, but I like that idea a little bit better. I know it's kind of the same thing, but I like the theme of Custom Heroes a little bit better. Favorite Bears team? Oh, come on, man. 85 Bears. Definitely. Tom or Z? We never answered those questions. Stop asking them. We never answer them because we don't. We just don't. Favorite spice? Berkey, you know what favorite spice is mine. Yes. Fever or nausea? Doesn't one kind of go hand in hand with the other most of the time? Favorite cooking show? Chopped is my favorite one. I'll watch that one often. Let's see here. Board games or milk? Milk? I guess. Imperial Assault or Star Wars Rebellion? Ooh. I would probably have to say for brevity's sake, I think, You know, the head-to-head version of Imperial Assault is probably my favorite, just because it's easier to get to the table, but I really enjoy the depth of Rebellion much better than Imperial Assault. Scrambled eggs are over easy. Scrambled eggs. With picante sauce. Or, if there's no picante sauce, ketchup. Are you a fan of the Blackhawks? Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Happy Mouth plug is right. Love Happy Mouth. Just used some last night on some chicken. Oh, man. Elevates the chicken. Kiwi or green tea? Ooh, green tea. But I really don't like green tea that much. I just really don't like kiwis. Kenny knows all about that. Let's see here. Wasteland Express or Fallen Land? I haven't played Fallen Land yet, so I can't really determine there. Star Wars movies or every other movie made. Star Wars movies probably. Batman or Iron Man? Iron Man. Fish or poultry? Poultry. Scythe or Rising Sun? Probably Rising Sun, but depending on my mood, maybe Scythe. Time Stories or Exit the Game? Time Stories, hands down. Last Jedi or Force Awakens? Last Jedi. I like that movie better. Plus, somebody didn't die in Last Jedi. Well, I mean, one of my favorite characters didn't die in Last Jedi. Milk or cookies? Both. Incongruence. Let's see. Sweet snacks or salty? It depends. It depends, really. Korean food or Mexican food? Korean food. Star Wars Legion or Imperial Assault? Don't know. Haven't played Star Wars Legion yet. Patriots or Eagles? Eagles. Already answered that question. Dice Masters or Couriers? Dice Masters. I'll say that. Just because I like the theme better. Grease 2 or Teen Wolf 2? Neither of them? Their original counterparts were much better on both sides. Fantasy or sci-fi? Really depends, but I'll go with fantasy sci-fi. Ooh, take it. Pizza burger or burger on pizza? Neither. Stop mixing foods. Curved or flat screen? Flat screen? Let's see here. I don't know what that means. Blood Rage or something else? Blood Rage, come on. Let's see, Mythic Battles or Lords of Hellas? Ooh, I don't know yet. I've only played Lords of Hellas twice, and I've only played Mythic Battles once, really. So I need to reserve. Peanut butter or jelly? Both on the same sandwich. Rogue or Ranger? Ranger. Honami Koji or Onitama? Her. Onitama for its ease, Honami Koji for its depth. Favorite Olympic sport? Hockey. Shells or elbows for mac and cheese? Shells. Because sometimes they hold that pocket of cheese in there and it's amazing. Netflix or Amazon Prime? I'm going to say Netflix because my youngest uses Netflix incredibly more than Amazon Prime. I use Amazon Prime more for the discounts on shipping and that type of thing. Heroes of Normandy or Battle Lore? Right now I'd have to give it to Heroes of Normandy. Essen or Gen Con? Whew, those are the big monster conventions that we go to, and I'm not a big fan of big monster conventions, but I enjoy my trip to Essen better than my trip to Gen Con just because I have kind of a nostalgic connection with Germany. So yeah, I'll go with Essen. But I really do enjoy Gen Con, don't get me wrong. A lot of cool things happen there. Rather fight Hulk or Superman? Neither. Yeah. Hot cereal or cold? Cold cereal. Chocolate or fruity? Chocolate. Jam or honey? Honey, definitely. Paul or Peter? I definitely identify with Peter much more than Paul, but Paul was a great dude as well. King Domino or Queen Domino? Queen Domino. I like that one. I like that game better. Nachos or cheese fries? They're both very bad for you, but I'll go with cheese fries. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Breakfast. Sharp cheddar or mild? Sharp. Favorite Space Marines chapter? Dark Angels. Sam or Samuel? Either one. Doesn't matter to me. I will answer to both. Betrayal, Baldur's Gate, or House on the Hill? Baldur's Gate, just because I like the theme a little bit better, and it fixes some of the problems of the original. Chinese food or Thai food? Probably Chinese food. Mexican or Chinese? Why am I getting all the food questions? I'm not Tom. Let's see, Conan or TMNT? I haven't played TMNT, so have to be Conan. All right, just a few more minutes. We're in the last minute here. David or Aiden? Those are both of my sons' names. Why are you asking me to choose between one of my sons or the other? Beard or mustache? Duh. Beard. I think mustaches by themselves look weird. Rebellion or Battle of Five Armies? Rebellion. But I do really enjoy Battle of Five Armies. Captain America or Iron Man? Captain America. Definitely was in the right. Iron Man was wrong. Princess Bride or Cool Runnings? Both of them. Preferably one right after the other. Those are both really good movies. Let's see here. Kabuki or Kid? We'll just go with both of them together. She does a great job on helping us with these things. Let's see here. Hogan or Ric Flair? Let me just answer it this way. Woo! Do you like Rage Wars Arena? Yes. Blood Rage or Rising Sun? I like Blood Rage better than Rising Sun, but Rising Sun is very good in and of its own. Wolverine or Lobo? Wolverine. Zaya or Eclipse? Neither. Eric Lang or Richard Borg? Why would you ask us questions? I refuse to choose. Let's see. Do it or give in to your anger. Do it. That's easier to say. Let's see. Pandemic Legacy Season 1 or 2? I'm going to say 2. There we go. All right, so we've reached the end. I'm not going to refresh anymore. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. I want to thank you guys for watching, asking questions. I really do appreciate it, and I enjoy doing these things a lot. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you didn't make it for our live session, well, I'm sorry. That is my fault because I didn't schedule it probably as soon as I should have. Well, I definitely didn't schedule it as soon as I should have. But I'll take the responsibility for that one. But hey, until next time, thanks for joining us. You've been watching the Dice Tower. We'll see you on the flip side.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio. Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our